Can you change your life by changing your story? What does that even mean? Let me explain. I'm Michele Thill with Newland Wellness, and today I want to continue the conversation that we've been having about embracing change more, about moving forward, especially because you're someone watching me, a woman over 50 who is been through a major life transition. Could be like me, a divorce. You could have lost a partner. It could be that your kids have either flown the coop, or as we're getting into this time of year, it's getting closer to them doing that, and you're wondering, oh my gosh, now what's going to happen? Or it could be that you are in a career pivot where the job, the role that you held, you no longer do. And as we're trying to figure out the next steps, I've discussed before that we've been past the milestones in the first half of our lives. And now this second half isn't necessarily about creating more milestones, but now enjoying what life has brought to us. And even though you may not enjoy in this moment where you are in life, I want to meet you where you are and give you some hope of where you can go. Because that's what's happened for me. When my ex, and I'll give you an example, and as I share about my life, it's in hopes that something will spark or resonate with you, something that you can relate to and therefore then apply in your own life. I usually don't like talking about my personal life and myself, because I feel like we get together and this isn't about me, it's about you. But in me sharing about my journey, I hope it makes it more about us and that you can pick up on some things from what I've been through. So my ex left. It'll actually, I calculated it, and it's now over 10 years. It was November of 2014. And we all have a story, right? That's my story. My ex left. Now, with that said, the meaning I give to the story, my perception of the story, is either going to keep me stuck or allow me to move forward. I want us to think about life. Things are going to happen. Life is going to happen, right? Shit is going to happen. With that, you have an opportunity to shift. So when my ex left, I certainly had a grieving period. And I suggest all of us do that, because we just don't want to go through something major and just think, I know everything's going to work out immediately. There's a grief process, and I did go through that, but I didn't stay there for a long time. Yes, I felt my story was my ex left and life was unfair. How could he do this to me? What a jerk. How wrong he was, right? That all makes sense, doesn't it? That's understandable. You can relate, can't you? But that kept me more in like a victim mode of I'm knocked down and I can't get back up. And it actually gave him power because I was feeling weak, because I wasn't able to stand on my own 2 feet. So what I did is I decided to shift my story and start moving into, first off, noticing the story I was telling and the way I was telling it and how I was portraying him. Therefore, how was that making me look? And with that, I decided, you know what? I've got to be stronger than I know and wiser than I realize. And part of my story, fact, was I had never lived on my own. I went from my parents' home to being married, and I therefore never had to support myself. I went from my parents' home to being married. I never had to really support myself in any way or know what it was like to live on my own. Now, those are facts. The stories I give to that, and that makes it so hard. Oh, woe is me, is one version of the story I could tell. Can you relate to this? Can you relate this to something in your life by what I'm sharing? Or I could tell the story of, well, it's time for me to grow, and it's time for me to move forward, and I can figure this out. That's another version of the story. My perception of my ex left, and I moved into that story. You know, something's happened in your life, and you might be feeling like, in adding to the story, I'm not good enough, this is hard, this isn't fair, I can't figure this out, whatever it might be. So first off, I want you to just notice your story, the facts, just the facts. My ex left. That's a fact. Now, what's the story to that fact that you want to tell? And what I'm asking you is to notice what you're saying, what you're thinking. And is it helping you in moving forward? It may be helping you in giving you satisfaction of other people rallying around you. But is that helping you move forward or keeping you stuck in the situation that is no longer? Could you imagine what my life would be like and what I'd be like if I just kept telling the story 10 years later? My ex left. It was so unfair. Life is so hard for me now. I just can't believe this happened to me. Gosh. What a life I would have led those last 10 years, feeling so weighed down by that story. And speaking of stories, I love Dana Wilde. And years ago, one thing that helped me with my stories was hearing her say, your problem isn't your story. Your problem is you keep retelling the story. And that's the other thing. You keep reliving it and sharing it with others and reliving it with them. And with that in mind, how do you move forward and change your life? How do you write that next chapter when you're stuck in the past chapter and you can't let it go? And I'd love for you to just start noticing your story beyond the facts. You have your fact. What's the story beyond it? Let me give you an example. I heard this some years ago from Neil Donald Walsh, and it resonated with me, and I hope it does with you. He tells the story, or the fact, right, that it's raining. It's raining today. That's a fact. It's raining. Now, there's two people that are giving meaning to it's raining. One is the farmer. It's raining today. I have been praying for rain. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. My crops so need the water. This is such a blessing. Thank you for the rain. Thank you. It's raining today. It's the parade organizer. It's raining today. I can't believe it's raining today. Of all days, it didn't rain yesterday. It's not supposed to rain tomorrow. I have worked with a team 4 months, probably close to a year, organizing this parade. I had everything figured out. I was so looking forward to this. Everybody's all excited, and now the day's ruined because it's raining. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it's raining today. Now, do you see? The fact is it's raining. What meaning are you giving to what's happening to that fact? Now, both of those were very understandable stories to the fact. What I want you to pay attention to is the fact that's happening in your life and the story you're giving it. And is it one that's helping you move forward? Because the reality is life has changed. Period. You can't stop that. So either you can stay stuck there, or you can decide to start telling a new story. A story that says, you know what? I was surprised by what happened. And yet, I will figure it out. This has happened for some reason. I don't know the reason, but I'm going to go on a journey of finding out what I can learn about myself and about others on this journey. See, I'm taking my power back. You take your power back when you start saying that. And you start thinking, instead of thinking I'm not good enough, or some women feel like I'm not lovable, instead you realize, my ex and I, we had just grown apart. We were going in 2 different directions. It was almost like we came together to have kids, and then once our kids were growing up, we were growing further apart. And both of us ultimately benefited from him leaving. He's in a happier place, I would imagine. I'm in a happier place for sure. It's a different place than I thought I would be, but it doesn't mean that my old place was better, right? And I can now build on this new story of I'm figuring things out, I'm growing, I'm stronger than I realize, I'm wiser than I realize. And again, as I say all this, I want you to hear this and think of yourself. Because it's not that I'm on here to brag about me, but to show you that if I can if I can change my story and change the way I'm thinking and change my life through my example, I encourage you to do the same. Because if you're listening to me, there's a seed in you. It might be a bigger seed. It might be a little one planted way back here that is thinking there's got to be something more. And you're on the journey of figuring out what that is. And it's a journey of one step at a time, one breadcrumb at a time, and realizing the facts of what's going on and your perception of the facts. And is it helping or is it hindering you? And then changing that story and that perception. And you could take that through anything that happens in your daily life. For example, the slow car in front of you that's driving you nuts, that you wish would move out of your way. Instead of thinking all those understandable thoughts, think, that person is doing the best that they can to drive, and I'm okay, and maybe I should have left a few minutes earlier. Oh my gosh, that's a book I could write, right? If only I had left 5 minutes earlier. And take some responsibility, if you will. Take that power away from what's ever happening and see your part in it. If I've got a slow car and I'm rushing to work, I know I should have left earlier, and for whatever reason I didn't. And then I do some deep breathing. So I want you to think about all of this, and then take a new action. You look at the facts, you look at the meaning you're giving to the facts, you're noticing, do I have a pattern of thinking things are hard or unfair or I've been done wrong or whatever? Notice that, and then start taking a new action that helps you. For me, like I said, behind that car, I take the action of deep breathing instead of swearing, right? Can you relate? So I just wanted to pop on today to give you some hope and encouragement that when you do change your story, you can indeed change your life. You change the way you're living your life. And if you like what you're hearing, if I resonate with you, please like, follow, and subscribe for more. And please share this with someone you feel could benefit from just being more self-aware, more mindful on this journey. We're all in this together. And I want you to know I believe in you. And I even feel the need to say I'm proud of you. How does that feel to hear that? Can you accept that? Or do you fight that? Think about that as well too. And I will be with you later this week. Until next time, be well.